I have to put something on my face. I put oil on my face. So I printed out some. I'm gonna take these notes to court today, or tomorrow. Tomorrow is court. I'm gonna take up these notes that I printed out tomorrow too. So I've got the bruises to show like how abusive my dad is, but now I've got these notes from last year to show how abusive my mom is, to show that they're both mentally ill. So these notes that I printed out that I'm about to show, they're a really good example of how people with borderline personality disorder act, because my mom basically, she left these notes last year in reaction to me not saying anything about Mother's Day coming up. So she left these notes. I took pictures of them on May 12th. My birthday is May 13th, so it's like this is kind of like what I got for my birthday was these nasty notes from her. But last year Mother's Day was also on May 13th, on my actual birthday. So it's like she was like angry that I hadn't even said anything about Mother's Day coming up, which I hadn't for the past few years. Like I stopped that when I was in the homeless system, because why should I acknowledge an abuser? You know what I mean? So but see, somebody with borderline personality disorder perceives that as like an abandonment. It makes them feel like anytime they feel like you don't love them, then they're going to turn abusive to try to force you to love them, even though you have a good reason to not love them because they're nuts and they're really abusive. So, and I have a little sticky note that I put on it. I'm gonna leave it on there, like so that I'm sure to like, you know, like just to tell the judge that like this is like classic borderline personality disorder type behavior. So, which is really like the whole thing with them evicting me, it's really just a product of their own mental illnesses. That's all it is, and they're trying to take it out on me. So so let me show you these notes. Like, she put them on the refrigerator, and I just like you know, walked out and so which one? I think that let me switch them, because I think it was in this order. So here's the first one. She said serial killers love girls like you just like they love hookers and runaways. You know why? Because no one is looking for those people. Even the cops don't care. They dismiss them as trash. Human traffic bosses, same deal. You see how, like, you see that how her handwriting even looks pretty sadistic, especially if you look at her R's, like her lowercase R's, how pointy the top of it is, and her lowercase F's, like in the word traffic, how pointy they are. Like, look at that. Like, doesn't it just look like, and that? Doesn't it just like, so, and then here's the other, it was in two parts. She had so much to say. So, bad people look online for girls who hate their parents. Those girls are just ripe for the picking. You think we are stupid and reckless? Take another look in the mirror. And then this part says, stop being an idiot, get help. But really, she's talking to herself. Because, all this was prompted just by me not having anything to say to her about Mother's Day coming up. And this is how upset she gets. You know what I mean? I am. And so then this is the sort of thing that leads to them spinning up these fake stories and having me thrown in mental hospitals. So when really obviously they're the ones who need to get help. You see how it's they've just been projecting that onto me for years. So I put a note here. I'm just gonna, when I take it to court, I'm gonna leave it sticking on top so that I'm sure to, if I get a chance to give the context that this was prompted not by me doing something crazy, but I'm saying just for something as simple as me not saying anything about Mother's Day coming up. I mean, she didn't specifically say that, but just the fact that I took photos of these when I first saw them. When I very first saw them, which was May 12th, the very next day was both my birthday and Mother's Day, May 13th. And so obviously, there was no other reason for her to put these up there. Nothing had happened. So, and this is classic borderline personality disorder behavior, the kind of reaction that somebody would have, you don't love me? Well, then just get picked up by a serial killer. It's when she's the abusive one. So I'm just showing it for longer in case new people came in. I would be independent right now if you dumb pieces of shit would just pay me for what I'm good at. Pay me for the work I can actually do, which is spiritual work, which is the exact title of the scope. Apparently, you are such a dumb motherfucker you can't even read. So, what a dumb piece of shit. Dumb people come in here and run their big, fat, dumb, ugly mouths. Every time I have run out the door, like the fucking idiot who I just blocked said, I just run out the door. Yeah, every time I do that, she does something to sabotage my effort. Or I try to run off with some stranger on Craigslist just because she gave me no other choice. It was either that or she said she offered to drop me off in a park to live in the park. So I went to found this dude on Craigslist in Illinois somewhere, and it got to the point where I was about to tell the guy, yes, book the bus ticket for me to come live with you. And then I told my mom, okay, I'm going with this guy. She had already basically dared me to do it. She'd already said, okay, fine, go then. Fine, just go ahead and do it. So I'm like, well, okay, you're giving me no other choice. So then when I told her, okay, I'm waiting for him to book the ticket, then she's like, you know what? I'm gonna call the cops and have them show up where you are and take you away on a wellness check, because the only reason somebody would leave town like that and go live with a stranger is if they're nuts. But that's gaslighting. Do you see? What she did to me was gaslighting when she did that, because she set it up. I was staying at a hotel that she was paying for, and she yanked that out from under me, leaving it so that I had to leave the next day. And she was only offering, all she would do is drive me and drop me off at a park to live in a park. So. And then when I did, she's the one who told me. She told me, go ahead, go to that guy on Craigslist. And then when I said, okay, and then I started to do it, she said, nope, I'm going to call the cops and have them pick you up before you can leave town and take you away on a mental health thing, because the only reason anybody would go off to somebody like that is if they're nuts. Well, she's the one who's nuts because she's the one who keeps putting me in this position.
And anytime I get a job, she'll figure out some way to sabotage it. Anytime I go off with some guy, even if it's a real boyfriend, which I don't do anymore because I'm a mystic now, but back in the day, back when I used to do that, she would then call she'll fucking harass long distance. It doesn't matter, you could be 700 miles away. That's how far I went off every time when I went off to college. As soon as I got there and she went back home to where she lived, she started in on the harassment, like, don't you want to come home? Don't you miss your family? Aren't you homesick? And then she would spend years begging me to come home and abusing me long distance, like psychologically sabotaging me until I couldn't function anymore, until I had no choice but to come home like she wanted. And then once I'd get home, 3 months later, the abuse would start up, and then she'd end up doing shit like tying me into closet doorknobs, and, and I'm living in fear for my life, okay? And then, like, whenever I try to call the cops on her, she'd do some shit like almost throw me over a balcony to stop me from calling 911. Okay, and then, once I finally escaped to the homeless system, she would stalk me and show up there, knocking on the door, and I'd be hiding inside telling all my roommates, don't answer it. Okay, and then the whole time I was in the homeless system for 4 years, she begged me to come back to her, offering me shopping sprees. She offered to take me to see Madonna in concert, like, when she doesn't even like Madonna, and I didn't give in. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something, like, it's like a cat and mouse kind of thing that she does. You're psycho, bitch. What a fucking bitch, man. These people are, they're already mentally ill if they're saying that shit to me. They're obviously the ones who are psycho, so... So spiritual work is the only thing I have to offer. If you people want me to work, then you're going to have to put me to work. Spiritual work, I'm a full-time mystic. Spiritual work is the only thing that I can do. It's the only kind of work I can do. So if you want me to be independent, you better start paying up. You want me to work? Fine, give me a job. Hire me. Hire me for spiritual protection. That's what I'm offering. That's the only kind of work I can do. Just like if you're a physical person, all you can do is physical shit. You gotta go fucking clean the toilets at the stadium, or go be a construction worker, or go be a nanny. Well, guess what? I'm a spiritual person, okay? I gotta do spiritual work. You need a spiritual bodyguard? I'm your person you want to hire for that shit. And so if you're not willing to hire me, if you're not willing to hire me and put me to work at the shit that I'm good at, which is spiritual work, don't come in here and fucking bitch about me not being independent. Don't do that, okay? Because it's your fault. Because nobody's stepping up to hire me. So if you're not going to hire me, don't then come in here and bitch about me not being independent yet. All you're doing is you're making the problem even worse. You have nothing to offer in this situation. You're not contributing anything. If you want to contribute to the situation, you've got to hire me for the kind of job I can actually do, which is spiritual work, which I'm offering in my title. If you're not going to do that, there is no place for you to come in here and be like, get a job. Hey, I'm here every day looking for work. I've been on here every day for 3 months pretty much, and nobody has fucking stepped up. So that's your fault, not mine. I've shown up every day to do my part. I spent countless hours explaining the whole thing, and nobody has stepped up to hire me. And there's nothing I can do about that.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to what the dryer said. So if you pay me $10,000, then it says temporarily, because it's just like until it runs out. Basically, like, here's how it works. So my service that I offer for spiritual protection, here's how long it lasts. It lasts until I need more money. When I start feeling like I need more money, that's when you're going to start feeling the protection wear off. Because this is it's a 1-to-1 ratio. It's a 1-to-1 exchange. So, that means however, the more physically comfortable I am, the more spiritually comfortable you're going to be. That's what the 1-to-1 exchange means. So as long as you keep me materially comfortable, I'm going to keep you spiritually comfortable. If you like, if you're going to try to be cheap, or if you're going to try to let things go to the last minute before all my money runs out, then you're gonna experience the same amount of suffering, except spiritually. So, like, if you try to go cheap with how much you pay me, then I'm gonna go cheap on you in return with how much spiritual protection you have, how much spiritual comfort you have. If you pay me $10,000 and then you let it get down, you let it get to the point where I'm down to $100 and I'm like, how am I going to pay my rent? Then that's the same exact status that your spiritual protection is going to have. You're going to be like, damn, I don't have much. I'm feeling like all the spirits are closing in on me. I'm feeling the demons come back. You know what I mean? It's all up to you. This is all, you're in control. You're in control of your own spiritual comfort. You're in control of how much spiritual protection you have. It all comes down to how materially comfortable do you keep me? How much money do you keep in my? How much money do you put in? How much money do you put? Are you doing drugs right now? So you've come on here to tell the world. You've come on here to announce to the world that you are tweaking, and you have reported yourself too. Okay, you're to the cops. I hope so. So you're saying yes, you do tweak. You're tweaking so hard, all you're capable of doing is projecting. So this person has come onto the internet to tell the entire world right now, today, that they tweak. And they tweak so hard, all they're capable of doing right now is projecting. And they're reporting themselves. Hopefully to the cops. I don't know I don't do drugs, so I have no idea how much. I don't do drugs.